Hey guys, welcome back, Keyless Interviewers, and today we're going to talk a little bit about a non-electric car, but the twist is it does have a sibling. So today we're going to be looking at this guy. It's the 2024 Hyundai Kona SEL. Now, let's talk about the Kona real quick. The Kona actually started as a very small compact car, a crossover that was really designed to be a really good, useful subcompact car that a lot of people like just because it had a lot of features, but it was very decent on gas. It wasn't great, but it was decent on gas, and it also allowed you to get that crossover feel without having the crossover shape and size. When we start looking at the 2024 model, we're looking at a new design, right? Redesigned inside and out. To be honest, this is probably one of the best looking redesigns I think I've seen on a car in a very long time. So just kind of looking at it from the very beginning at the front of the car, we're going to talk about just the polarizing design elements. So for instance, if we're saying, you know, what are we looking at here? We're talking brand new headlight design with the new, light bar that goes across. Caveat here is the SE, SEL, SEL convenience, and I even believe the inline, which there's not the N model yet, but it's coming. They all have the partial LED. So if we kind of go up to the front, this light bar that you see here, it actually illuminates around the corners on both sides, but the center is actually not illuminated. That is exclusively on the limited trim only as of right now. The good thing about this, guy, is you do still have LED headlights. High beams and low beams, so you have both of those. The turn signals are incandescent bulbs. Not my favorite way of doing it, but I will say it works. The new embossed Hyundai logo here, which is a nice piece of aluminum that's kind of almost embossed into the hood. It's not, it doesn't sit up like it's a sticker. It looks really good, I should say. One of the things that kind of stood out to me was it does have active grille shutters. And the nice thing about it is it's very easy for me to demonstrate it. But before I do that, let's talk about the one thing that's still kind of polarizing, and that is Hyundai's new key design. So I will say this, I didn't like it with the EV, with the Ioniq 6, but this is kind of like a satin silver. It looks a little bit better. So to be honest, I would say it's still not the great shape. It still really feels funny in your pocket if you keep your keys in your pocket. Not bad. And then the other negative is this is your emergency key, so you have to keep this guy separate away from the main key. So you actually have to have a keychain where it's kind of dangling on here, which I'm not a big fan of. But if I do hit the lock button and then hold down the remote start, you'll see it actually crank up, and then the active grille shutters will open and close if it doesn't need it. But it will actually vent itself out to allow more air in, which is pretty cool. Let's look at a different angle here. This guy is riding on Kumo tires, and these are 18-inch tires and a nice wheel package for the SEL convenience. You have 215 55 R18s. These tires are fairly inexpensive if you have to replace them. That's one good thing about them. But I do like the design of the wheel. The wheel actually has a really kind of a futuristic look. So with this particular model here, you have a few extra features that also will show up on the Kona EV. I hope to have that one in a review very soon. But this is my first car away from the VW Group's cars. And I still have more from them as well. But for right now, I just wanted to venture and look at a few new things. You have your integrated turn signal here, which is really nice. These are manual folding, so you don't have to worry about touching that. As you can see, it's a beautiful red. This is I think this is Radiant Red. I'm probably saying the wrong one, but I will put the color right there as far as the color name. You do have your front access doors. It no longer has to have a button. You have your hand to kind of go in to unlock it, and then you have like a little touch panel right here to lock it up. Going around the side, you do have that side molding, which gives it more of like that ruggedized look. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the ruggedized look on this particular car because you're not taking this off-road. This car is designed to be used on road. And yes, it is all-wheel drive options out there on this particular model. But to be honest, you're not taking this off-road at all. So as we come around to the back, we're looking at an LED tail light, which is nice. Incandescent turn signals here as well, and incandescent reverse lights. There's a reflector here, and of course you have your solid LED light bar in the back. It is not active. So when you hit the brake lights, it does not come on like a brake light will. Those are only on the corners, and then also you have the third brake light here, which I think is kind of cool looking. It's unique. And then of course you have the Kona name embossed in the back, along with another one of these embossed logos. I think this design looks really good on Hyundai. And then coming around to the sides, you're gonna see a little bit more. There's your gas tank there. And then just look at that profile. This side profile here, I think, is one of the better views of this particular car, along with the front view as well. As we come into the back, let's go ahead and open this up. Now, the owner of this vehicle let me use it, so they may have some stuff in the trunk, and they do. But you can see it's actually a decent sized trunk in here. You do have a nice little cover, which is hard. A lot of people don't like the hard covers. I personally don't mind, because I think it still gives you a good dampening, or a bit of sound dampening from the rear into the passenger volume of a car. When you have the little tarp covers, they don't cover as much, or they don't make the interior as quiet as it should be. There is a nice little mat here that's part of a package. And then in the subfloor, you can see that there is their spare tire there, a small spare tire. It's not a full-size spare, but it's better than nothing. You have a couple side cubbies on the side over here, along with a LED light, which is nice. A bag hook here and a bag hook here. And then right here, this particular part says push. If I push it, it does nothing. But what that's designed for is, if I want to take this piece off and slide it in, I can actually slide it into place. And you can see there's a little anchor here and then a piece right here. So it actually slides and lock in those two anchor points. So I can put the cover behind the seat, allowing me to get more room in the back without having to take this guy completely off and leave it in the house. This does not have a power liftgate. The power liftgate is an option on the Limited. So you can see there's a little blank spot here where you would normally see it. And of course you have your handle to pull it down and close. But before we do that, there's your rear view camera and also your incandescent license plate lights. Okay, so let's talk again about the rear. You do have a nice little wiper. A lot of people will prefer to have the wiper underneath the spoiler area. I kind of see that that's a good option as well. But let's just say for this price car, not that big of a deal. As you move into others, you're gonna wish that you have something bigger. There is a antenna here for your satellite radio, and also your radio antenna is built into the windshield, or the rear window. This particular unit also has blind spot monitoring included. So you can see here, you got your blind spot monitoring. A little icon there lets you know when someone's in your blind spot. Roof rails are already standard on here. Coming in from the rear, we're gonna look at the rear door panel first. So you have your hard plastic here, hard plastic here, hard plastic here, as well on the armrests. And then you have your window controls, of course your rear handle, a bottle holder, which could also fit probably a nice large cup, little handle cubby here. And then of course coming into inside the car, you actually already see you've got a little bit of a couple things that's kind of missing. There's no seat back pocket on either seat, but there is a little cubby in the middle. You can kind of see in here. And then also you have your rear vents and two USB-C ports for charging. You also have in the rear your two cup holders that you can have and an armrest for your rear passengers. And of course, this is a nice fabric. It is a durable fabric. It's designed to be cleaned very easy. And of course, you have your LED light up here. So one of the things that's pretty nice over the regular SE is they put LEDs in here versus the other. So I'm gonna hop in. We're gonna get an idea what it looks like. Okay, so I'm actually sitting back here. I actually have plenty of room right here for my knees. I'm in not my driver's position. However, this seat is in my position that I will be in. And I still have about an inch worth of room on the two between that side and over here. Knee size, good. Your headroom, I got plenty. And I'm 5'9", so I've got plenty of headroom here. Shoulder room, something a lot of people don't talk about. I'm intruding into the middle just a little bit, so trying to get 3 people back here is going to be hard, especially if they're my size or maybe even, bigger. But someone who's tall, about 6 foot, maybe 6'3" max, could kind of sit back here with someone sitting in this position as it is right now at about 5'5", 5'6". You start getting beyond that, you're probably going to cut off about 5'6", 6'2" behind this person and be somewhat comfortable. So keep that in mind. You have your O-blank handles on all 4 doors, which is nice. I never understood why some cars don't put it on the driver's door, but I get it, right? There's no reason to put that handle when your hand should be on the steering wheel. You should be driving the car, remember that. All right, so coming in, here's your front driver's seat. Once again, we do have hard plastic here, hard plastic here, hard plastic here, and of course across the back. Like I said, economy car, they're not going to put a lot of soft touch materials here. As you move up to the next model, which will be a Tucson, then you will start having some soft touch materials, because even I believe the inline, or excuse me, the N won't have soft touch. I might be wrong on this armrest here. They actually may put some soft padding on that one. However, controls are roughly the same as they all have been for a while. Here's your mirror controls, left, right, no power mirrors. Of course, your controller there. You got your locks, unlock, lock buttons. Your 2 front windows are expressed up and down. 2 rear windows are only expressed down, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, you have your windows lock. So you have that in there. So, going to the driver's seat. There's your 10-way power driver's seat with lumbar. And then you also have your gas release knob right here. It's odd, I haven't seen a gas release thing in so long in EV cars. And then, of course, you've got your parking brake. You've got your lighting controls to go up or down as far as the illumination of your lights. Then you have your hill descent control, and of course your traction off. Here's your hood release, fuse box, of course your manual tilt and telescoping wheel, and your stocks. And then you have this beautiful new Hyundai logo, which I believe on the steering wheel is going to be kind of standard from here on out. It's just the 4 dots, which represents H in Morse code. And then, of course, you have your steering wheel controls. On the left-hand side, you have all your cruise control. Right-hand side, you have all of your media controls and also your mode. We're going to look into that in just a second. Let's hop in. Okay, so now as we kind of come in, we're looking at the steering wheel again. We also, I did mention we have paddle shifters on both. You have your downshift and your upshift over here. So you have that very easy for you to get to. All right, so putting your foot on the brake, push the start button. And then here is your main front gauge when it comes up. I do like the redesign. It's really nice. You do have a nice clean 12-inch screen on the left and on the right-hand side. So if I wanted to change that centerpiece, the centerpiece right here, and you can also see up here you've got your speed limit sign. This also shows stop signs, yield, and so on. It also shows your current trip right now, but if I want to change that, I go over here to this tab, push this little screen, and now that changed me to a compass. If I push it again, it takes me to the driver assistance when you have your lane keep assist built in, as well as your highway drive assist. And I believe this also has highway drive assist version 1. I don't think it has highway drive assist version 2, which allows you to change lanes. Push it one more time, it takes me back to the trip. As you can see, there's 4 little dots here on the right-hand side. So if I scroll down, I can now see my fuel settings from each one of these settings. And then the last one is your tire pressure. Now, coming to the center stage, this is basically where you see some things have changed. And the nice thing about it is you do have a lot of nice features that they have put into this new redesigned system. So right off the back, I can tell you, you can scroll through the new menu, which looks a lot cleaner in my opinion than the original Hyundai menu when they introduced on the other Kona and also the other Hyundais itself. So you have like your phone projection, which is for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have your voice memos, so you can actually record internal voice memos into the system. You have your weather, and this nice thing about weather is actually just clicks into your local weathercast, whoever that is in the area that you're in. It'll actually give you a map to show you on the right-hand side exactly where you're located and where the weather's coming from. You can see the forecast. You can see today's weather. And if you can go home, it comes back to the main home screen. Really quick on the home screen, this is customizable, so you can actually change this around if you want to by default, because this has the map built into it. GPS maps here. You also have your radio stations and your phone over the side once it's paired. You have your valet mode, which is really nice because you could just hand them your key fob and it'll only allow them access to, the interior, and you can lock out the trunk if you want to. And then, of course, you have your Hyundai Pay. Hyundai Pay is not really ready in the U.S. just yet, as far as I know. I think they're still working on testing sites. There are some areas that people are using it, but I will say right now across the country it's not ready. You have your setup menu, but then the next page you have your vehicle diagnostics, your maintenance, HD radio data, any notifications about the car, oil changes, and so on will show up in there. Then you have your online manual. Let's see the cluster theme selection. This is something that people may not have known, is you can actually adjust it on the SEL convenience and higher. The SE and SEL standard doesn't have the exact same screen. So if I say I want to do classic, now if I take this over here, let you see what classic looks like. There's your classic gauges. So now you can actually get those traditional speedometer and the traditional tachometer. You can also link it to your drive modes. So if I have that turned on, it'll automatically switch between classic and simple on your drive mode. So if I got it linked here, there's a little drive mode button down here at the bottom. So I'm going to turn that little wheel, and then there's my drive mode with sport and normal. This is a rear-wheel drive only, so it does not have, front-wheel drive only. So it doesn't have the snow mode, which is designed for the all-wheel drive model. As I kind of scroll down, and I'm going to just kind of leave it here. Over here on the left-hand side, this is your drive stock. So there's no longer a shifter down here. They put it on the SEL convenience and higher. You have it right here, which is very similar to what you would see on the Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6, soon to be Ioniq 7 when it comes out. So basically you put your foot on the brake, turn it once to drive. You actually confirmation on your screen. Midway takes it to neutral, turn it all the way down, goes to reverse. You'll see the camera come on, and you can see there's your reverse camera. And I do have a camera button at the bottom. I'll show you in a second. I can change the view to a normal wide view to an ultra wide view. Some people like seeing this because it looks, you get to see everything. Or you could do a top-down view to make sure you're in the lines. But by default, that's your standard view right there. I can also go into your settings and I can change, like I said, contrast to make the camera look a little bit more sharp and vibrant. All right, and then if I go back over here real quick, push the P, that puts me back in park. All right, so the rest down here, you got your climate control, which is what everybody wants, right? We got a volume knob and a tuning knob for the radio and all the radio buttons plus that star. But then you have buttons for your climate control, and this is a dual zone climate control. So you have your temperature on both sides. You have your fan speed. This is your setting for foot, face, or however you want to have it for that setting. You have your auto climate, which will adjust, of course, based off the temperature you want desired. And then, of course, you have your recycled air on and off, the off button for the climate control, AC, your sync button, rear and front defrosters. And then down here at the bottom down here, let's make sure you guys can see this. You actually have your USB-C port for CarPlay and charging, and you just turn it between one or the other. That's charging only when it's white, charging and data when it's orange. And of course, you do have your second USB-C for just charging. There is a Qi charger here for your wireless phones. You just pop it on here and it'll come on. You'll get a confirmation ambient green or ambient light right here. And this is pretty cool because it's integrated 12-volt outlet, which is hidden. I like the fact that they did that. It keeps it really clean up here versus having a whole circle and a pop-out menu. And then down here at the bottom, you actually have your drive mode selected. I can just turn for sport and then turn for your normal drive mode. You have your heated seats on both sides, rear view camera button. Once again, you push that, turn the camera on and off. Auto brake hold. You can see down here we actually have some extra storage, but the storage is actually pretty cool because you actually have something that a lot of people don't normally get in a car of this class. You have adjustable cup holders, and these are very simple for you to pop out, for you to actually bring to put your cups in when you need them. But when you don't want, you want the space, you just push it on back. And now you have more space here. Good for a small purse or, you know, something else you might want to put if you're a young lady. And then if you kind of go around, you have your little baby cup holder. Little baby. Look at little baby. Nice little spot that you could throw in some whatever items that's going to fit in this little cubby. This is removable, and it also has a little place underneath it. Just keep in mind that space is open, so you're not hiding anything from anyone in here. This little cubby though is sealed up, so it actually does hide some good things there. Okay, going back over to the side, you actually have your little shelf where you can throw things like straws or whatever you want in there. And you have a decent size little glove box. Has all your manuals from Hyundai. You actually have your automatic dimming rearview mirror. You have your LED lights that are both sides. Of course, your controller to control that to where it's going to be open at the door. You have your blue link button that turns on your blue link for information. And you have your SOS for any kind of roadside assistance. And a little passenger airbag turned off indicator there. Mirrors, it is illuminated. However, here's the bad part. For anyone who likes using the mirror, it's illuminated when you turn on the switch. I can open up and look at it in the mirror, but the minute I close this, if I close it, that will turn off the light. But it doesn't just come on automatically, so it's not an automatic light. It does turn off if you forget to do it. So overall, the seats here, like I said, they're comfortable, a little firm, but at the same time, they're pretty comfortable. And to be honest, guys, I would say for a new driver or someone who is looking for a really nice vehicle to kind of give themselves something that's different. Maybe you want something that's better than a regular sedan and you don't really want to spend the $40,000, which is, I think it's like $48,000 is the average car price right now. This particular model stickers for about $28,900. So that's not bad for what you get. The only thing that you're missing between this and the Limited that's really a big standout in my opinion is the sunroof. You're also missing the leatherette seating, and you're also missing the LED turn lights, and I want to say there is like 2 other small features there. I can tell you right now, the overall quality between the SEL convenience and the Limited, like I said, a little small minor things. If you don't really care about a sunroof, you're not really concerned with, you know, having all-wheel drive as an option, which you can get all-wheel drive in this car as well. That is a good option. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me for another great video, and one of many. Like I said, I am going to try my best to stick to the EV platform. However, if the car has an EV and a combustion cousin, I am going to try my best to bring both of them to the table, because it makes the most sense to see side by side, is it worth going to an EV, or do I get the gas combustion vehicle, which is probably going to save me about $10,000 in price. Thanks for watching. Drive safe. We'll see you soon.